It was a rare, quiet morning at the private terminal of a New Jersey airport when Donald Trump arrived, expecting to board his usual flight without issue. But an unexpected mechanical delay grounded his jet, leaving him stuck in the terminal, with time to spare. Frustrated at first, Trump paced the lounge and checked his phone. Staff offered coffee, but he waved them off. It was in that moment of downtime, away from the cameras and advisors, that something entirely unplanned happened. A man in his 60s, dressed modestly in a veteran's jacket, approached him slowly, respectfully. Trump looked up, curious but guarded. The man introduced himself as William "Bill" Granger, a retired Army medic who had served multiple tours overseas. "Mr. Trump," Bill began, "I'm not here to criticize or flatter you. I just want to share a story that's been on my chest for a long time." Trump, perhaps out of boredom or genuine interest, nodded. What followed was a heartfelt account of service, trauma, and survival. Bill spoke not as a politician or pundit, but as a man who had seen war and its aftermath up close. He described losing friends in the field, the long nights treating wounded soldiers, and the helplessness of returning home to a system that often forgot them. Trump listened silently, his usual bravado fading into focus. Bill didn't ask for sympathy. Instead, he challenged Trump to remember people like him, not just during campaigns or rallies, but in decisions made behind closed doors. "You speak about loving America," Bill said, "but loving her means caring for those who carried her burdens." The words hung in the air, landing with a weight few could ignore. For nearly an hour the two sat, surprisingly uninterrupted. Trump asked questions, not about politics, but about Bill's thoughts on what veterans truly needed. Bill didn't hold back. He spoke about mental health care, housing insecurity, the broken VA system, and the bureaucracy that pushed heroes into homelessness. He shared stories of friends lost not on the battlefield, but after they came home. "We don't need pity," he said. "We need purpose and a system that doesn't forget us." Something in Trump's expression shifted. His tone softened. This wasn't a PR moment. It was personal. Trump, known for his combative style, surprised even himself. He opened up about his regrets, moments he felt misunderstood, policies he wished had gone further, and his own struggle with trust in advisors. "People don't realize," he said, "how much noise there is in this job. But stories like yours, this is the real stuff." For a moment, the businessman turned politician and the veteran shared a mutual understanding that had nothing to do with parties or power. Just two Americans face to face beyond the noise of headlines and handlers. As their conversation wound down, a staff member informed Trump that the jet was now ready. But instead of rushing to leave, Trump stayed a few moments longer. "You've given me something to think about," he told Bill. "I've had people scream at me on TV for years, but you spoke to me like a man. That matters." Bill nodded, shook his hand, and said, "That's all we ever want, to be heard." No cameras captured the handshake, no reporters were present, but it was perhaps one of the most sincere interactions Trump had experienced in months. After boarding his plane, Trump sat quietly by the window. Advisors noticed his silence. "Everything all right, sir?" one asked. Trump just nodded. "I met someone today," he said simply. The rest of the flight was uncharacteristically quiet. Days later, during a speech at a veterans summit, Trump recounted his conversation without naming Bill directly. "I spoke to a soldier who reminded me what leadership means, not just leading rallies, but remembering promises made in silence." The audience listened closely. Something in his delivery was different, less campaigner, more citizen. News outlets picked up on the change. Commentators debated whether the moment had truly affected Trump or if it was political strategy. But insiders confirmed he had instructed his team to revisit neglected veteran programs. Policy memos were redrafted. Conversations with veteran groups resumed. A subtle but clear shift in tone began taking root. Trump even requested a private follow-up with veterans to gather first-hand stories. Whether inspired by guilt, gratitude, or growth, something had changed. And it all started because one man dared to speak truth quietly in an airport lounge. Bill Granger, meanwhile, returned to his quiet life in Pennsylvania, unaware of the buzz he had triggered. When reporters later tracked him down, he declined. Interviews. "I didn't want fame," he said. "I wanted someone in power to listen. That's it." His humility only deepened the story's impact. On forums and social media, veterans began sharing their own stories, using the hashtag Heard at the Airport. For once, political lines blurred. People responded not to parties, but to empathy. One quiet moment had ignited a national conversation, not about conflict, but about listening. In a world driven by headlines and outrage, Donald Trump missing a flight seemed trivial. But that delay led to a conversation that may have redirected part of his thinking. The encounter with Bill didn't erase controversies or policies past, but it served as a powerful reminder. Real change often begins with real stories. A president and a veteran sat as equals, and for a moment the spotlight didn't matter, only the words shared between them. And sometimes those are the moments that echo loudest, long after the plane takes off.